So, do you like to network?
I do on occasion.
Welcome to the Strong Like a Mother podcast with Cherie
And Jada. We're doing your best. Doesn't mean you have to be perfect.
It could be tiresome.
Yeah, it can be. I think too much of it is a bit overstimulating, but it is necessary. I don't even want to call it a necessary evil.
Yeah.
It is necessary.
Obviously I'm fresh off of this conference, and I will say that it is probably the best that I've ever networked in my entire life. Probably because you weren't with me, truthfully. And so it's because, we enjoy hanging out with each other. And so I'm like, no, I'm going to lunch with Jada. No, I'm doing this. It basically forced me
to meet new people.
Which was
You're welcome.
Yeah, but it was good. I mean, I do think you get to that end of the week. Like, there was a dinner the last night,
mm-hmm.
and they were like, oh, come. And I'm like, I am peopled out at this point. I just hit that wall where I'm like, I'm tired. And I love to talk. Clearly, I have a podcast. I have a job that requires me to talk a lot. Like, I like it, but I do hit that wall.
Yeah.
At the end of the week where I'm like, okay, and I'm tired of talking to anybody. Like, I just want to sit there with my phone. I want to zone out. I want to watch some TikToks, some videos, something. I want to scroll mindlessly on Facebook and like decompress.
Yeah, I know that from wanting to make the most out of these experiences, you're like, I'm in this space where like I can ask people like all these questions and connect. We're like-minded individuals. It's why we're here. And then at some point you're like, I get this is a great opportunity, but I've kind of had enough.
Yeah.
But it is just such an amazing thing to get to go in and ask those questions to people who do business a little bit different, do life a little bit different from you, to get different perspectives, things you never thought about doing. And I don't regret making time for those opportunities because like the growth I've gotten from being in rooms with powerhouses of people, it's just helped me so much.
I think it's something that is not valued enough in your career or in your business, whatever that is for you. I look at this conference specifically. Yeah. And just because I got in the right rooms the last couple of years on this conference and connected with people who are big players in our world, that's how I got this speaking engagement, and that created a huge opportunity for networking while I was there. And so it's like, you just never know where those opportunities will lead you. I walked away last week. I got one listing referral. I've already had the listing appointment. We're moving in the right direction. That's pretty much secured. I have had another agent reach out from North Louisiana, and she's like, I know, it's not me, but somebody in my office is looking, and I sent them all your contact information. So it's just getting your name out there.
Absolutely.
And it's so funny because really and truly, I guess I had kind of put in my head, like, we don't really get a ton of out-of-state referrals here for our business.
You would think so.
But, well, it's not that people aren't moving here, but it's the fact that most of the people that are moving here are in the oil industry, most of them, not everybody, but a lot of them. And they've already got these big companies that are relocation companies, and they're sending it to their agent,
Yeah.
And so there's a lot of that. And on the occasion that I have gotten those, I mean, you're paying quite a fee out of your commission for those. So it's not really business. Like, I'm not trying to go get that business. If it falls in my lap because it's somebody I know, no problem. Like, I'm not gonna, turn that down. But still, that's pretty amazing. I mean, just that one referral, the one that I've secured, will pay for the entire trip plus some, and it's not even a price. I mean, it's a little flip house, So
yeah.
It's not even an expensive one, but it should at least pay for my expenses. So That's definitely, it goes to show you the power of networking and getting in those right rooms and what it really can do for your business. Because I've seen enormous growth in my business from networking.
I think it has put, for me, it's put perspective into things that I was like, oh, I didn't see that here where we live.
Mm-hmm.
But, hey, this does seem like something that's more in line with my personality or how I would like to do business that I've never thought of doing.
Yeah.
And, it's good to learn from people from everywhere, not just kind of like your competition per se. Like, you can share all this stuff with me because I'm not competition to you. I'm not a threat. Like, there's nothing, I can't hurt your business, which in turn, what's for you is for you. What's not, it's not. 100%. But that's not how people look at it, especially in a commission-based business.
Yeah.
And, so a lot of people kind of hold those secrets in, and they're not secrets.
No. And, I think early in my career, I think it's really normal to feel that way, to feel like every single person is, oh, if you get a deal, that's a deal I missed out on. And in reality, that's just not how it works.
Yeah.
You were the first person that told me what's meant for you will always be for you. There's nothing, nobody can take that away from you.
Yeah.
And I think it's really important to remember that. And really, I've gotten so involved with our local board and our, community, and I teach there sometimes. And at the end of the day, like, yeah, I could like hoard all these like quote unquote secrets in, but ultimately, why? Because your client is not going to be my client, and vice versa. Like, we're marketing to different people.
Yeah.
And at the end of the day, it makes my life easier when I have a professional on the other side that is, well-rounded and they're good at what they do. We all are better for that.
Yeah. I've found it harder to network here locally.
Yeah.
And I've tried, and it's just felt like inauthentic to me.
Yeah.
Like, either you had to like suck up and chase people, or I don't know. It's just always been strange for me.
Yeah.
So it's never panned out to where like I just felt like, oh, I want to join this group or that group. I kind of have kept more to myself. So these other conferences have been better for me because we are like, beyond basic people.
Yeah.
We like extravagant things, and not really like extravagant. We're over the top,
right.
People wanting to give this premium customer service thing. So we're all kind of like-minded, but you also get to meet people that aren't like real estate agents that do different things, or you meet real estate agents that do different things as well, which has been really cool. But, so when I first got into real estate, like I was kind of always in my office because I was trying to network. I wasn't really, because, came from being a stay-at-home mom.
Yeah.
To now you have to know people to make money.
Yeah.
And all this stuff. And so then it felt weird because I'm like, okay, I'm networking with these people. One, they weren't going to buy houses from me because they were other realtors. And we're in the same market, so you're not referring anything to me.
Right.
And two, it just wasn't making me any money. And I didn't feel any more connected to any of these people.
I think when you're networking locally, you need to get outside of your industry.
Yeah.
I mean, I'm very fortunate that I do have a handful of vendors that do send me business, and that is phenomenal. I think to network across, they're in our industry, but they're not realtors.
Yeah.
And so I think that that's really valuable, but really I think where my head is going is I want to network with other female business owners, you know, like I don't want you to be in my industry. Not to say that you can't come and network, if you are, but, like networking. I mean, I'm sure you see all the time, like Christina, the girl at our nail shop, we always tag each other. Like, I'm so conscious when I see somebody looking for a service that she does, I'm like, oh my gosh, you have to go get with Christina. One, they have amazing service. They always do a great job. And two, she's tagged me in so many things, and it's like that right there, that's to me the valuable piece of the puzzle, is when you get with other people that you're consistently pouring into each other's businesses. So I think you have to network differently whenever you do it locally.
Yeah.
You can't, I don't really spend a lot of time at my office, truthfully, because one, I am a chatterbox and I can't get anything done when I go there. I know that's a shocker. But, it's just one of those things that you just sit there and you're like, well, is it going to be valuable today to go? And sometimes it is. I'm not saying there's not value in going to my office for classes or whatever.
Yeah.
But if
not
it's
just to socialize.
Not just to socialize. Not just to go sit there and work. I can do that at home. I can do that at Starbucks. I can do that at a million other places that I'm going to be more productive for me.
Yeah.
But the other part of networking, I think, at these bigger events that are more nationally, it's so funny. I mean, we've made a lot of great friends from this event. And some of them, it was such a surreal experience, because some of these people I talk to on a weekly basis, over Zoom, on the phone, texting, Facebook message, like all the above. And this was the first time that I got to see them in person and like give them a hug and just be like, and it's so surreal, because you just don't, you know them, but it's so weird that you haven't met them. It's the strangest thing. It's a weird world we live in. But just, that level of networking that you're doing, that you're just getting out there, but just the friendships that you make too. Because really, if they brought nothing else to the table, some of these women that I know and talk to, just their friendship is valuable enough in my life to be like, oh my gosh, did you see this? Or, like, let's laugh together at what just happened over here or whatever. So that's, I think that's it's a forgotten piece, but to me, it's been very valuable in my life.
And I think that's the amazing thing about finding the right circles to network in.
Yes.
Is that these are people that are genuinely cheering for you and supporting you. And it's awesome, because that is awesome when you see all these female business owners really doing that, and you can support them through their hard times of, like, mom guilt, or slower times in business, or shifts, and and vice versa. But just making those connections with people that, like, organically I would have never met you, because like the timing of going to a new place, running into you, and then deciding to have a conversation with you, I think, how would that have happened?
Exactly. So I love that you brought up, like, aligning with the right people. So when I was at this conference, we went to lunch, a few of us, and one of my friends, Yvonne, she talks about at lunch, she's like telling us about something, and I don't even remember what we were talking about, but like, one of the speakers, Lee Brown, who, if you're in real estate, you probably know who Lee Brown is. She's hilarious. She actually got Yvonne like up at the stage and did like a video in the middle of her talk. And my response as we were sitting in lunch is, I was like, Yvonne, I am so happy for you, because like it was just like a cool thing. But at the same time, I'm a little bit jealous, because like that was really cool. And she was like, thank you so much for saying that, because like not everybody had that response, kind of thing. And it was just like, it makes you sad, because really at the end of the day, we're not each other's competition. We're here to like make each other better. And she was like, it speaks to the type of person, and really everybody at the table kind of echoed that same thing of like, we were so happy for you and so excited, and it was really cool. And, to have those kind of experiences where you do surround yourself with women that will uplift you.
Yeah.
I think that's a really important thing, that as we network and you meet those people that you really align with, don't let those relationships fizzle.
Yeah.
I do Zoom calls with women every single week, that it's like you're building that relationship because you see the value in that relationship. So I think that as far as tips for networking, that's a great one. When you find somebody at these events or locally or whatever, build that relationship. That's really, it's not just about that initial, oh, it's so great to meet you. I'm so-and-so, and this is where I work, and this is what I do. And if you found value, go and, friend them on Facebook, set up, hey, would you want to do a 30-minute Zoom call every week, every month, or, whatever works for you.
Yeah.
But I think that that's really a very valuable thing that so many people forget. You leave these things and it's like, okay, well, I met all these people. Well, what are you doing with that?
Yeah. The funniest thing, it's not that you don't learn so much from the actual conference, the actual speakers that come to like networking groups and all that kind of stuff, but it is in the side conversations.
Yeah.
It is in the lunches. It is in the hanging out by the pool.
Oh yeah.
That's where I get the most from.
Yep.
Is like, okay, what was your takeaway from that? What? I didn't get that. But you know what? I see that now. It's in that being able to really discuss these things with each other. Like those have been, I think, some of the best moments from me. Like those little small mastermind groups and stuff like that, the little breakaway sessions. Those have been some of the best things from these big conferences because they feel so overwhelming. And you think like, we went to the first one it's about 2 years ago.
Yeah.
2 years ago. And we just knew each other. Well, that's not true. We ended up going and we knew somebody else that was there. Yeah. One other person. And I think at that time it was 100 women.
It was 85.
Okay.
I asked Jamie, I was like, how many people were in Nashville? And she said it was about 85.
Okay. So we only knew each other and one other person.
Yep.
And we came from that with probably 4 or 5 at least. At least friends.
Yeah.
And then we go the next year. And like, hey girl, yeah, I'm glad to see you.
Yeah.
And then you meet so many. We probably doubled that, probably tripled that. But at this point, you were already in coaching, so you knew other people. So then I got to friend some of
a lot of those.
Yeah. So I'm like, I've been fangirling you on social. Glad to meet you in person. And so then like, I didn't get to go this year. But
it felt like each year, you're right, it like has doubled or quadrupled or whatever. And I felt like I talked to so many people. It was really a surreal experience. I mean, I probably had conversations with at least 75 people. Yeah. Different people that, I knew going in, or maybe I met for the very first time while I was there. So it's powerful to get in those rooms and just meet those women and build those relationships. Because you're so right. Like I walked away year one with friends. I mean, look, I met Stacy, my roommate for this trip.
She can't have you next year.
I told her, I said, well, next year I guess we're going to have to get adjoining rooms. She's like, well, that sounds good. But I think just to your point of the smaller groups, like the very first morning, there was nothing going on in the morning. We flew in a day early, and we ended up being next to Stacy's friend Ashley. Yeah. Our rooms were next door to each other, and so the next morning she like calls us and is on the hotel phone, mind you. It's so funny. I was like, the hotel phone's ringing. And she's like, would y'all want to order like room service coffee? And so we get room service coffee and we're just like in there. And you know what? I told them afterward, I'm like, what's so crazy is that I could leave this conference right now and I've already gotten value from the very first morning, and the conference hasn't even started yet because we're just bouncing ideas. And they're like, oh, but do you do this? And we're in our pajamas, literally drinking coffee on the bed.
Let me comment on that, because I was a little salty because Ashley then elects to send me the photo as if I'm like, okay, I couldn't go this year. Yeah. Thanks. Yeah. I'm happy for you guys, which I was. I'm like, that's so great. I'm glad she's having a good time. Now Cherie won't need me to be a roommate. She'll be like, I'm good.
I mean, if you don't go, at this point, I know so many women that I will find a roommate, but I, of course, still want you to go. And you're my first roommate choice. So
we'll see.
It's true. It's true. It's true. I will say this. I was very sad on the plane. I was like, man, even though we don't talk on the plane, we both put our headphones in.
Yeah.
It is just really different traveling alone. And getting to the airport, you would be laughing at me because I missed our airport. There's like so many like side exits to get, you got to go here. And it had been a minute, and I'm going to just be really honest with you. When other people drive, I don't pay attention.
Lucky.
So, I just don't, and I did go the wrong way. And so then I had to make the loop again on the way there. So yeah, it was a little comical if you probably watched me. So I did miss you for that because you know exactly where to go.
Mm-hmm. Yeah. So, well, okay. I'm glad I still have value. I still have value. So, okay.
I mean, the fact that you know you have value, you don't even have to question that.
But I will say this, even outside of like our real estate networking system, that when we started thinking about a podcast, that our friend Australia, she was like, hey, this is this great Facebook group.
Yeah.
And it's been great because this is new to us. We knew this is something that, hey, we both had the shared thought to want to do. We decided to do it together, but we knew nothing. Yeah. And so there's only so much you can learn from YouTube. At some point, you have to connect with people that have more knowledge. And so, like, I love it for if I have a question about something, or sometimes people will have a question that maybe I didn't think of that. Okay, well, just having that sounding board of people that we're not in competition with one another, that I can go and ask. And so this works across the board with finding your group. Like, this happens to be a female-only podcast support group.
Right.
And, just, hey, I have a question. Let me type it in. And then, they're always very supportive. And they ask you to share your wins and, like, what accomplishments you have and all that. So it is just great to making sure that I'm seeking out these support systems, because especially when you're building something. Yeah. You're growing a business.
You need those cheerleaders. You need those people that will support you and help you.
Yeah.
When you're building anything, you need that. So
yeah, family, any of that stuff, you kind of need that.
Yeah.
That village.
Well, and especially, I mean, to specifically refer to the podcast, that we had no idea what we were doing. We still probably don't, honestly. No. We know how to come and record and talk.
Thank you for going along for the ride, guys. It's been great.
All right. So before we wrap up, any other like networking tips that do you have like a go-to question that is kind of that opener that it's like, oh, how do you break the ice? Do you have any like go-to questions or anything that you find, or you're really good at networking. Like, you just go talk to people.
I think the funny thing is people come talk to me. I don't know if it's a childlike face or I don't know what it is. But people will just genuinely come up, and I'm okay with like volleying a conversation. I can't hold a conversation with a stranger in a grocery line, but I think it takes a little bit more for me to want to keep coming back to re-engage with somebody. Yeah. But the initial conversation and making the small talk, I think, allows for me to ask other questions like, so where do you live? And then, because I love travel and all that kind of stuff so much, I'll say something specific to where their area is to like create that conversation about, so what is the market like out there where you are? And so I think that conversation will just build organically. I'm not coming at you to get something from you. I want to get your deepest, darkest business secrets, nothing like that. I just would build that rapport. So what is your go-to?
I usually like to open the door. I usually compliment, because like I'll find something, like if I love your necklace or your earrings or your shirt or, whatever it is. Or if it's something really, really unique that totally stands out to me, sometimes I just use that as an opportunity to go up and talk to somebody like, oh my gosh, I love what your shirt says, or whatever it is. And a lot of times that it just breaks the ice to where, you're not having to go be like, oh, my name is so-and-so and this is what I do. Like, that's so awkward. So I usually kind of start with a compliment and just, oh my gosh, I love this, or your hair, I love the way you styled it, or, whatever. And then it opens the door, and then you can go, oh my gosh, well, okay, well, what's your name? And then rolls into that. I did learn from my friend Ashley, which not that this is networking per se, but I thought her tactic was really good. Whenever we went to a restaurant together, she asked the waiter, if you could only eat here one time, what would you order?
Right.
And it was one of those, like, it caught me totally off guard because it was super thought-provoking, but yet it was an easy to answer question for that waiter.
Yeah.
And so they were like, oh my gosh, hands down, you got to get this.
Yeah.
And so I think you can take that tactic and you can apply it across any board. And
absolutely.
Just having that thought of like, if you had to go back and start your business over, what's the one thing you would tell yourself today?
Yeah.
You know, you can change that into so many different ways. And I think that just being that thought-provoking is a really good thing. So
I think so. And it's funny that I feel like a lot of times we will engage in conversations and not even exchange names. I'll walk out like, I don't even know her name. I'm horrible about that.
Yeah.
I guess I'll put it on my list of things to get better at, but hopefully we meet each other again. And so that way I can get your name.
Right.
So
as we wrap up, I wanted to recognize our Strong Mother of the Week award. And in this case, it's going to be mothers.
Yeah.
So I just want to give a shout out to Jamie, Lauren, and Tara with Girls with Grit. They have created an incredible community. It is a community like no other. Strong women, empowered women, and to be in those rooms, I have found so much value in my life, in my personal life, in my business. They have created something so special, and I thought it would, coming off this conference, it would be the perfect way to end it and just tell them thank you for just truly creating a community where you can go and you can network and you literally walk away with best friends.
Absolutely. I've definitely missed you guys this go round. I really, really did. And, thank you for creating this room where, it's okay to be a little bit extra.
100%.
Own who you are and wanting a whole lot as a female, as a mom, no regrets. Go big or go home.
Awesome. Well, that wraps up this week. So if you miss us in between episodes,
yes, you know where to find us on Instagram at Strong Like a Mother Podcast. And we'll see you guys next week.
All right. Bye. Guys.